I picked my van up and I hit the road and I drove hard. One day I drove 7.5 hours to get to my son's house because she's got a little bit of a mist going on, and it's not continuous, but if it gets in a strain like going up a hill, she'll start missing a little bit. So my son is going to replace the spark plugs and change the fuel filter. And I hope that's all that's going on with her. In the meantime, let me show you where they have fixed all the damage and what's going on there. Yep, she's all fixed. I'm still having trouble with this tire right here. It's a little bit low every morning, so it's got a slow leak somewhere. Then I'm gonna have to take it to a shop and see what it is. All the damage has been fixed. The only thing they did not do was paint my bumper back to the bed liner stuff like this, and this new piece here, because they didn't do that kind of paint. So I'm not going to paint the bumper just yet, because where the rear end incident happened, I have finally got the guy's information and I filed a claim, and I'll be putting it in the shop after I get the topper on to get that damage fixed. There's a hole in my door, in my sign in my door. The bumper is bent here and it's bent here, and I don't know that he did that because it's on the side, but that bumper will have to be replaced also, so I'll just wait about painting everything. I got to do some work in here before my son can change the spark plugs in this thing, because the 40 Econoline have what they call a dog house, and you pull that dog house from the cab area to get to the engine. So let me show you what I have to do to be able to do that. So I'm going to have to take this little cabinet out, get rid of everything right there, clean the top of the cabinet off to be able to get to this doghouse. And once we take this doghouse off, it just clips on and off. But once we take that off, the engine is right there and he can change the spark plugs. So I've got to get this little cabinet emptied and move it out of the way. I got everything out. A little cabinet there. Inside here, that's all of my Charger 1 stuff right there. It doesn't come out, but I've got the doghouse unclipped, but I cannot get it to break loose. The carpet's rolled up right there, so it's preventing me from pulling it out. I'll have to get something to push that carpet down to come over the top of it, but this thing has got to come off so that he can get to the engine. My son got the tune-up done, cleaned the injectors, changed the spark plugs. He's still got to change the fuel filter. We were waiting on a special tool to get the filter off. So I got everything cleaned up, put back, and she's running great. It's good to have her back. I'm so thankful to be back in my home. And today we're going to do the chalk test. And what is the chalk test, you ask? Let me show you. So I have had the question of how much PSI should I run in my tires with this build out. I've had tire shops to tell me different things. They say that I should run less in the front and more in the back because of the weight of the vehicle and it being built out. But then I got to thinking about that, and the engine is up front and then the weight of the build is in back, so shouldn't that even it out? I don't know. So I just have never been able to determine what the proper PSI for my tires are in this van. So I started Googling one day. I came across what they call the chalk test. And I thought, well, that's easy enough. I can do that. So the chalk test should determine the proper PSI for your vehicle. And I thought, boy, that would be great, because with the built-out van, you know, you have the tire PSI recommended, but it's not, it's for an empty van. And then in my case, I have larger size tires on my van than factory recommended. So which PSI do I use? So today we're going to do the chalk test. The first thing I'm going to do is check the tire pressure in all the tires. I'm going to start with 60 PSI. I have run 75 in the back and 70 in the front, but I noticed that I had wear on my tires. And your tires should wear evenly if you have the correct PSI. So the first thing I'm going to do is check my tire pressure, and I'm going to start with 60 PSI in every tire.
Out there alone on the highway, she had a broken wing she's trying to hide, and I was much too old to act on the feeling. But then again, I ain't never had someone to hold. I wrote songs for a mockingbird, take them all, leave them, I know that she heard. Songs for a mockingbird, looking at me, she sang every word. Songs for a mockingbird.
Okay, I have 60 PSI in all 4 tires. So now let's do the chalk test. To do that, you're going to use a piece of chalk I borrowed from my grandkids. You're going to cover several threads here evenly.
Songs for a mockingbird. Oh, you give and you take and you live and you learn. Songs for a mockingbird.
And I'm going to make me a little line here to help me find where I had marked easier.
We were out on the beach, covered in midnight. She made love to me under the stars. But now I'm sure it wasn't worth believing.
Okay, now that that's done, We're going to drive it up the road just a bit, not far, 100, 200 yards at the most, and see what the wear test tells us. This is what it looks like at the moment. Now let's drive it up and see what it tells us. Let's look at our results. This is the back tire. It looks like to me that the chalk has worn off evenly, and if it's worn off evenly, that means the tire is properly inflated. Now let's look at the front tire. The front tire, it looks like, can you see that? It looks like there's chalk on the edges. If chalk remains on the edges, the tire is overinflated. So I'm going to take these front tires down to 58. Since I have them all at 60, and this back tire has worn evenly. Alright, so let's take this front tire down to 58. I'm thinking I'm going to run 60 in the back and 58 in the front. But let's do the chalk test and see. Alright, we're going to chalk this front tire again.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
I still have chalk on the edges here. So chalk remaining on the outer edges means the tire is overinflated. If you have chalk remaining in the middle, you are underinflated. So what we're trying to do is get an even wear. So I now have 58 in the front and 60 in the back, and it looks like the front tires are still overinflated. So let's take a couple more PSI out and try again. Okay, that chalk looks like it's evenly worn to me. So that means my front tires are supposed to be 55 PSI. I just marked the sidewall so I would know where my chalk mark was. So with the Roby tire inflator, I like because you can set the PSI to what you want it to be and it automatically shuts off. And it puts the exact same amount in every tire. And a piece of chalk, I have determined how much PSI I need in my van for the weight of the build. Now, when I do the new build, I will have to chalk test the tires once again, because I don't know with the new build if I'll be adding more weight or losing some weight. I'm guessing adding more weight since I'm getting the topper, but we'll see. But once I get the topper, once I get the new build, I'll do another chalk test. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next week.
Sleep, hear the crickets, see the moon, side by side and through, no limit to what we can do. Oh, We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.